like, tweak it how you like, okay? It's fine. Just as long as you grab the main points, it's okay, but you can, with all your own personality and demeanor, present it how you like. And remember, practice makes perfect, right? Over time, you'll get better, inshallah. But you do have to practice and run a few runs. So, is Go Rap the only way to giving dawah? Of course not. There are so many different ways to approaching a non-Muslim and having a conversation with a non-Muslim. But this is just one effective way that's been demonstrated, and alhamdulillah, by Allah's will and grace, has brought many people into Islam. And it's a way that we like to teach others because it's simple, it's easy to remember, and easy to apply. So, let's start. The initiation. So, we're going to break soon, inshallah. We're going to take a short break very soon, but let me just start on the initiation part. So, initiation, bridge between interaction and dawah. So, the initiation is where you start the conversation with your friends, okay? And the first thing you want to do is kind of bridge between you interacting with them and giving them dawah. So, you need to start a conversation with someone, right? There are two types of initiation. There's the active and the passive initiation. Does anyone know the difference by any chance? Let's talk about active first. What does active initiation mean, or what does active in general mean? Yes.
I think the difference is active is you're in control and passive the other person's in control.
Kind of. Well, not so in control, but more so like the initiator.
Like active, like like you go up to the person, how would you like to learn about Islam? And then passive is just you got a dial booth open and people come to you.
Okay, definitely a good way to look at it. So let's look at it, okay, a little more. So active initiation. So pretend, for example, I'm Brother Mustafa, and I go up to, let's say, Rob, okay? And I go up to Rob, and I say, hey, would you like to discuss the purpose of life today? How are you doing? That's a really nice shirt, right? Put a smile on, whatnot. And, Rob says, not really, I'm kind of in a hurry, but yeah, what do you have to tell me? So I say, have you heard about the Muslim faith? And then he responded and said, yeah, I've heard, but honestly, I've just heard like bad things. I heard about like how you guys wrap your woman up and things like that. So then I respond back and I say, okay, well, that's a great question, or a great concern, actually. I can understand why you have that concern, but with all honesty, if you do want to know more or you want to understand the reasons behind why women cover this way, I think you first need to understand the fundamentals of Islam. Do you have a few minutes? If you're in a rush right now, perhaps we can exchange contact and discuss at a different time. So this is called active initiation. It's just a way to start the conversation, okay? So we'll get into more examples of active initiation. A passive initiation is what we kind of saw here, but let me kind of elaborate again. So passive initiation is as follows. Let's say, same situation, so I'll be Brother Mustafa, and this time Rob comes up to me. Okay, I don't come up to him. So he comes up to me and then he asks a question. He's like, hey, I have a question, man. Why do you have a beard? Right? Like, why do you have that? So I say, oh, hi Rob, how are you? Well, thank you so much for your question. It's actually a very interesting question, and I didn't have a beard in the past, but now I do. I used to ask the same question. But with all honesty, if you do want to know why I have a beard, I think it's very important for you to understand the basics of Islam, the fundamentals, and then perhaps, I believe God willingly, you will understand as to why I have a beard and maybe understand the religion as a whole. Okay, so that's called passive initiation. Now you started, and then you say, do you have a few minutes to discuss? So now what you did is a person's coming to you with a concern, and what you're doing is you're taking advantage and you're grabbing them. They're showing an interest towards Islam, so grab them, right? Take them in. All right, you want to know about Islam? Please, welcome. Talk to them about Islam. And what we're going to do here is, after we get through initiation, we're going to go through the Go Rap. Okay, so that's everyone understand the difference between active and passive initiation. It's very important. So again, active is when you go up to someone and say, hey, do you believe in Jesus? Did you know that Muslims believe in Jesus too? You ask them a question, you prompt them, and then you wait for a response. That's active initiation, like you're putting forward a question. Hey, do you have a few minutes to discuss the purpose of life today? Right? Hey, do you have any Muslim friends? All of these are just active approaches. You're the one being active and you're approaching the person. Whereas with passive, the person is coming up to you with concerns or questions, and you're responding. But even when you're responding, you still want to try to drive the conversation. So either way, whether you take the active or passive initiation, you want to ultimately control the conversation. And I have friends who do some of both. We have our very famous brother Kareem in Jersey City. He always does the passive. He's always just at the table. He doesn't go anywhere else. He has a dawah book. He just stands there the whole time, and people just come to him. Right? Whereas myself, I'm more of the active. So you'll find me going up to people and trying to, start dialogue. So everyone is different. Everyone has their own initiation approach, and that's fine. You can pick which one you like. You can do some of both. It's okay. But it's good for us to know the type of initiations. So there are two kinds of initiations. All right. So again, passive initiation is more about you start with your character, because that's the first thing the person sees in you, right? The first thing they see is your character, because they're the one asking the question. So as soon as they ask the question, give them a smile, right? Don't frown on them, or don't give them like a defensive face, like you're gonna knock them out or something. So have good ikhlaq, have good adab, and show them your people skills, and then get to the concepts of getting them to understand Islam from our perspective. So with the passive, again, they're coming to you, asking you a question. Smile, give a good impression of who you are and what your religion teaches, and then tell them, all right, well, if you want to know more about this question, then I think it's very important for you to understand the foundations of Islam first. When you have the foundations, then I think it'll be easy for you to understand these other type of questions. And then you agree. You agree to have this conversation. So that's how it works. Character, concept, agreement. That's the passive. Now with the active, you build a conversation, so you start first. You use your communication skills and you start the conversation. Then you have a direct conversation, right? So you're the one that says, all right, well, hey, so you do want to talk about the purpose of life? Great, I'm happy to hear that you have a few minutes, and maybe they might have a concern or not. Either way, if they don't present a concern, continue on with the conversation. You already started it. You built the conversation actively. And then you initiate go wrap, so you have the conversation. All right, so after this common sense part, we'll break for 10 minutes, inshallah, and come back. So common sense agreement. We want in the beginning to ask them, after the initiation, before you continue on with go wrap, talking about God's existence and all that stuff, you want to first come to a commonality with them. Do you agree to have a, do you want to come to an agreement with me as to build our dialogue on common sense? You can ask it whichever way you like, there's so many ways to ask it, but you want to just have a common sense agreement, okay? Really bad situation. Obviously this is not common sense. I don't know what happened to this guy, by the way. Hopefully he's okay. But this is not common sense. So what you want to do is establish ground rules first. This is not something that you want to do, right? And obviously in dialogue too, we need to have common sense, right? So if I'm talking about, for example, if we're talking about the existence of God, don't go talking about unicorns. You know what I mean? Let's build some ground rule. Let's use common sense. And a method we can all agree on. So common sense is always something that most humans agree on. Unless if you're like some weird philosopher where you say, well, what is common sense? Common sense is outdated, But generally, most people would agree, yes, we have to use common sense. We have like this instinct, right? Okay. We're going to pause here, guys. I know it's getting, maybe you guys want to take a break. So inshallah, 10 minutes. So right now it's 3:25. So 3:35, please, if you could come back here by 3:35, just maybe stretch your legs, take a walk, whatnot. And we're going to come back and deal with these different scenarios. Okay? Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Of course. I'm just sitting aside.